everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Mamas. I'm Murray Greel.
And I'm Heidi Henry coming to you from our socially distant studios at the edge of the Great Red Divide. You can catch all of our favorite episodes and all of our previous episodes at Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com, on all podcast streaming platforms and YouTube, and proudly carried on the Demcast USA network. Twice a week, coming to you live to bring you the messages of democracy, the Democratic Party, and the progressive movement. Murray, today I have on my Off the Sidelines, This Is What Democracy Looks Like t-shirt. Thank you, Off the Sidelines. Happy to wear this on the show. Off the Sidelines.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, Murray, let's get talking about what we're going to talk about today, because today's a big day.
Right. So tonight is kind of like, in any other reality, it would be Christmas Eve for me and you and all of these political geeks in the world, right? It's the presidential debate. We all have a side, but it's great to see what they're going to say. I am so excited about this debate, but not because of any substance, only because of the giant shit show that it is actually going to be.
Right.
Exactly. We need to start with the moderator, okay? So I'm kind of curious about the moderator.
Mike Wallace?
Have...
Not his dad.
Not Chris Wallace.
Chris Wallace, not Mike Wallace. I wish it was Mike Wallace, because Chris Wallace is somewhere trapped between I work for Fox News and I am a reporter. He's trapped in this,
right,
like this weird.
He is.
This weird
there
matrix.
Have been other episodes or other times that he's questioned him. Like if you look back at the interviews that he did with Chris Wallace, and Chris pushed back on some of those things. And so it was a good thing. But there's been a lot of controversy about him not acting as a fact checker in this debate.
No, he has no intention of fact checking. So Trump can say whatever he wants, because Chris Wallace is employed by Fox News, and he will not fact check him in real time. That's why I'm going to watch the debate tonight on MSNBC, because they will fact check him in real time. Even though I don't usually watch cable network TV, I kind of have to get through this. That's how I watched the RNC convention. You know that was very troubling for me. And to listen to this orange Caligula lie openly without anybody, pulling up on the trains.
Stop. I have to say right there. Yeah. Right there is where I think Joe can win.
Oh, yeah.
Joe has to be the one to fact check. Joe has to be the one to convince the audience, because it's easy for a fact checker to question, but I think it kind of does fall on Joe to be the one to be like, now, Donald, or President, that's not true. Here's the facts, and then go on to what he wants. I don't know. Yeah, I get it. As a moderator, you don't want to get too involved.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with such outrageous lies, it's hard not to. I can't even imagine right now trying to moderate this.
Murray, we remember the 2016 debates with Clinton and Trump, and how unhinged Trump was then, and that played right to his base. They love that when he's a complete and total asshole. They love it when he was prowling around behind Clinton like he was stalking her, and her trying to hold it together and not bitch slap him, because really she should have, but I and all of us, every one of us watching, we're like, just turn around and slug him, because he's been such a dick. But I don't know if he'll do that to Joe. I don't think he...
Because he's a guy.
Because he's a white guy.
And...
he's an old white guy.
Yeah.
Like him.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned something. They're going to go over certain topics. Every debate focuses on certain issues.
And Trump is going to have
Chris
to be
Wallace
on the defensive.
He's the one who put together the topics and the whatnots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's really interesting, because they're going to start off with the Trump-Biden records, both of their records in public life. And they're going to talk about the Supreme Court. They're going to talk about COVID-19 response.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the economy. And this is where I thought it got real interesting. Chris Wallace's topic of race and violence in our cities. Huh. Really?
Yeah.
Huh. You know, Joe just popped in a comment from one of our listeners. And I got to tell you, you're right, Gene. Joe needs to be fact checked. He needs to continue to fact check
You know,
Trump.
you and I both know that Joe Biden will either make this or break this all on his own, like any candidate will. He could have his Hillary not decking Trump moment, which I think is where Hillary lost some accountability or some respect from some people because she didn't take him on. She took him on as a diplomat, not
She
as
was
a
in an
warrior.
impossible position,
She was.
Heidi.
She was.
There was
She
no
was.
way for her to
When you stand up,
win. If she
yeah.
took him on harder, she was a bitch, a
Yep.
harpy. If she was softer, she was weak. Women are in we've had
shrill.
episodes about this before.
Yeah.
Such a double set of standards.
And yet,
it's untenable for a
Right.
woman to try to.
Right. And yet, I'm so looking forward to the Harris Pence debate because she's going to eviscerate him.
No, but what Heidi, you hit on something else here that I thought was kind of important. One of the most recent polls from Reuters came out, and it's 70% of Americans' minds are not going to be changed by tonight's debate. No matter how great they do, no matter how poorly they do,
And the other
it's not
30%
going to
don't
change
vote.
their minds.
Yeah, and the other 30% don't vote anyway, so I don't even know why we should not. Joe Biden, do not take the middle ground or the high ground. Go after him. Be the pit bull. Tonight is your night to fact check him and to explain to the world, to hold Trump accountable for why the U.S. is leading in deaths for COVID-19. Hold his feet to the fire. Make him answer. He can't.
He won't. He's never answered a question honestly.
No, he can't.
He won't answer the question. He'll spin it. He'll turn it to. I'm sure we'll hear how he has done more for the Black community than Abraham Lincoln. I am sure we will hear about how we do more testing and how we're leading the world in testing. And
that's why our numbers
are lies. And it's almost impossible for Joe Biden to fact check. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible because the number of lies in real time.
will be.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of tough for him.
So maybe what he should do instead of fact checking him, just stick to his own facts and allow the media to fact check later, because the media is going to come after Trump for every lie.
That is exactly what we need to do, and here's why. Because this debate is not about ideas. This debate is not about personalities. I mean, you have two diametrically opposed foes from Hamilton going at it. They could be, the only things they have in common is they are both white, they are both men, and they are both old. Beyond that, everyone already knows the stark contrast.
Yes.
What Joe Biden's campaign needs to do is to use this as a rally, as a United States-wide rally.
Yes.
His goal tonight is not to convince any of the Republicans to swing over, and I'm praying he doesn't focus on it.
Yeah.
His job is to energize, to get people excited, to give people hope, and they'll come out. And if he doesn't manage to do that, I'll be very, very disappointed, because then that means from a technical strategic level that his campaign is just in trouble.
Well,
I'm really hoping the take is that he's looking at this as being his moment with the nation.
I agree, Marie. I mean, he's got that opportunity, certainly, to make or break himself in this. However, I don't see this debate tonight changing anyone's mind. I don't see this making a difference in the polls one way or the other, especially with the daily news that comes out about how incompetent, how narcissistic, how dreadful, what a challenge to our security Trump has become, what a big liability liability he has become to our nation, to the world, I don't see it changing anybody's mind. I think you're either have drank the Kool-Aid so deeply and are so attached to Trump, or you're so ready to push away and push our country away from that dock of horrific Trumpisms. And
the cesspool that we
cesspool.
are currently in
Oh
the
my
middle
God.
of living in.
Did you ever think we could become a third world country in just 3.5 years?
Yeah, it did. We were already a third world country.
Well,
The only reason we were not a third world country was because of our GDP, and we have a big army.
Yeah.
But everything else, the way we treat our people, our education system,
Right.
our healthcare system, they are all third world country. Okay, so we make a lot of money. We're the best in mercenary capitalism. Yay! We're still a freaking third world country for human rights.
Well, especially
and it is
women's
absolutely
rights.
disgusting.
Yeah.
We have children, more children before the pandemic. The only source of their food is school.
Right.
And you're telling me that's not a third world country. So we have people that drive Mercedes, great. But the most of America is living in a third world country.
Right.
Now, I would not have expected us to become a banana republic quite as quickly as we did. But
yeah, watching the Republican Party cave to Trumpism.
Oh,
God! I mean,
it's creepy. It's disgusting.
It's
visceral.
Yes.
It is visceral.
Yeah. It's really difficult.
And I want to mention something. When we were talking, we're just talking about how, it's not going to change anybody's mind.
Right.
But one of the things that has come up about this is the attacks about Biden studying. You remember flashback 4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were, he was throwing and slinging. He uses a lot of the same stuff. He kind of recycles it.
Yeah.
So he's slinging at Hillary for studying and preparing and researching and doing debate prep. And he's making fun of her for that. He's doing the same thing for Biden. Okay, does he not understand how why that? And then forget that. Why do people think that taking away the validity of someone studying, preparing, and working hard for something is not valued? So, the whole false American idealism, exceptionalism, etc., underlying is hard work, right? The Republican narrative of bootstraps and, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
And you got to work hard. It's all about hard work. It's all about work ethic. So, yet we're going into a debate where you're going to be in front of a national audience talking about a variety of massive policies, and you're going to belittle someone for studying, researching, and looking. It's nuts.
Well, Murray, the thing is Trump loves the uneducated. We know that he paid his way. He paid for somebody to take his tests so he could go to school, right? He didn't even study for that. He got somebody to bail him out of being drafted in Vietnam, right? He's never taken the accountability that comes with study, with choosing to be well-versed and well-educated. He's never taken the pathway to education or personal enlightenment, just personal enrichment. And I think that shows the shallowness of the man and why we are in a cesspool right now of death and disease, because Trump doesn't bother to study the notes. He doesn't bother to take the risk of being intelligent, right? It's a risk when you have to study to be better, to be fluent, to be well-versed. It's a risk.
And I think you lead into something right there, Heidi.
Yeah.
I think overall his tenor and tone is, of course, he disrespects people who serve in the military.
Right.
He thinks of them as stupid. He disrespects hardworking people. He disrespects anyone who studies or works hard.
Did you see?
Because everything that he has done has been a grift from his growing up through where we are today. And then you can look at that by looking at his tax returns, right?
Oh my God, the tax returns.
And we often wondered, is he just an evil mastermind? Is he some sort of...
He's not the mastermind.
Really this... And we used to discuss, is he just that stupid? And I really think it is that everything in his life has been built on a fallacy and a false idea.
Right.
And because of that, he assumes everyone else is functioning in that way, which is why we get the projection.
Right.
Joe's on drugs. He's got dementia. We get all of the projection of everything that he does.
Who's on drugs?
Because he really doesn't see the irony of it. And then you compile that. Hey, Republicans, if you're listening, okay? This is your leader. This is your guy. Your greatest guy in the whole wide world.
Yeah, this is your guy.
But your theory is bootstraps, hard working. What you try to sell the American people is calluses, dirt under your nails is the only way to get ahead. Yet every turn, you do things to undermine that. He does things to undermine your main message. So where do you stand?
You know, Murray, I was just reading something the other day about the amount of money paid to corporate farmers and to farmers since his decision to embargo, to tax, to prevent the sales of our corn and soybeans to our trading partners. And so I got into a discussion with somebody about what is it going to cost him in votes until I pulled up what people got in subsidies last year. There's a church in my town of Marseilles that has a little bit of farm ground that they let out. And they get between $600 and $1,000 in income in that each year. Last year, they got $10,000 additional dollars. So they got about $10,675, which is more money than they've ever made. So, but the point I'm trying to make is Trump has learned to circumvent his shortcomings with money. And as we've seen by his tax returns and as we've seen by the farm subsidies with other people's money, that's not his money he's giving to farmers. That's our tax.
He never had his own money.
That's our tax dollars. Right.
Always somebody else's that he's playing with. And now it's our money.
Now,
he claims he's so smart because he let his taxes, he didn't have to pay anything in taxes, right? Yeah, he even said that during the debate. The third debate, speaking of debates, the third debate with Hillary, he used that line.
Yes.
And he said, well, that makes me smart, doesn't it? And if you hardworking folks out there, none of them are probably going to watch our show, but if you really think about it, okay, why should you idolize him for cheating and scamming a system? He also said in that debate, well, you need somebody who knows how to work it to be able to fix it. And he's done nothing. So think about that as well. I mean, oy.
Well, how he changed it, with his tax scam, is he made it so his wealthy donors paid less taxes. Well, that gives them the opportunity to donate more to his campaign. It's just like the last, our Congress brought forward the HEROES Act and the Senate brought forward a different act, and all of the money would have gone to the top. Well, the Trump campaign is cash strapped right now. They have so little money. They've pulled, advertising, especially television advertising, they've pulled it off in major markets because they have no money. So what he was trying to do, him and Mitch McConnell, was trying to give more money to the top income earners so that they could donate it back to his campaign.
Absolutely.
So that was him, again, using our money to finance something for him, which has become such a huge liability for the United States. Not only for him, we know that he has $421 million in debts coming due within the next 4 years. And Kamala Harris brought up today, who do you owe? Because we know that no U.S. banks will lend him that kind of money. So he's borrowed.
We know his son said he gets his money from Russia.
Well, Russia and China, he owes the most money. And part of his attack on China with the tariffs was for his own personal benefit, because he owed the State Bank of China, which had never lent any money out of the country to anyone else before Trump, Now they're beholden to him, and he's got them, trying to get him by the short hairs, not to help the farmers with trade deals, but to help and enrich himself personally because he owes them so much money. And what he did,
Really?
yeah. So by not selling our corn and soybeans to China, he allowed himself a little bit of extra time on the money he owed to Russia. So they in turn got the contracts to sell to China. Do you see how that works, Marie? It's very secular.
Yeah, and
how
Heidi,
he's
the
using
fact
our
that you said that,
economy to
it's so
finance
funny
himself.
because he reminds me, Steve's a certified broad examiner. So I said to
Mhm.
Steve just the other day, Trump sort of reminds me of the head of a Ponzi scheme.
Oh yeah.
He is
When you
stealing money from one to pay out another. So it's like he's the best Ponzi scheme guy ever. And they all get caught because of their taxes. Doesn't
Right.
matter who you are.
Al
You can find
Capone.
someone in the criminal justice system, if you have the right attorneys, will get you off, depending on who you are.
Bernie Madoff.
But you can't escape the tax man. And I love the fact that so far, the IRS has not fallen like the CDC and the
Well-
FDA and all of the other federal regulation
Right.
bureaus. So fingers crossed the IRS stays
Well, right now,
on their game and doesn't let them be
this
manipulated.
this
by the
audit, that
administration.
the years that he's trying to justify paying only $750 in federal taxes, Stan and I paid way more than that on our meager little income compared to his. And so now he's in a fight right now with the IRS. It's probably going to cost him $100 million on top of the $421 million he already owes, mostly to China and Russia. And Kamala Harris is spot on by bringing this out, because one of our secrets, because he's manipulated our economy to help himself out financially, right? With the tariffs and with the
Absolutely.
corn and bean contracts, and then because he was helping him, enriching himself or preventing them from collecting, then he gives the farmers this big payout through the farm bill to try to keep himself in their good graces. Okay, so as he tries to manipulate the election right now, because he knows he's got this money coming due, and he's either going to have to liquidate assets to pay it, or he's going to have to sell off some of the assets, including nuclear codes, because he has access to this stuff. He has access to rarefied air right now. Every secret the USA has, he has access to
Hopefully
it.
he doesn't remember half of them.
Well,
So
he's
really, I think
lost
we're
the
good.
foot.
And any secrets he might try to share, there's a good chance that they would take it with a grain of salt because they know he's crazy. But I do agree with you that he is a risk. But I
Yeah.
think what's going to hit most Americans, those maybe on the fence folks, are the fact that you're making $35,000 a year and you're paying more in taxes. So
Oh my
hopefully
gosh,
that hits
yeah.
home.
Yeah,
And now we were about to wrap up, Heidi, but
Yeah.
we've got to hit one last point before
Sure.
we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so guys, trust us when we say normally a debate drinking game is so much fun. You have a few sips, you chug a beer, maybe a cocktail, whatever your passion is. Personally, I probably hit a bong for every time instead of taking a drink.
He's a lot more fun
'cause
than I am.
That's more my vibe. I am a cannabis consumer and I am proud of it. It's definitely more my vibe. But whatever you are doing tonight, please use moderation. Remember, the human body can only process 1 ounce of alcohol per every hour. That means that a beer is 1 ounce of alcohol.
Right.
A glass of wine is 1 ounce of alcohol, and a shot or a mixed drink is 1 glass of alcohol.
Oh, dear God.
So, space it out.
Yeah.
Sip. Drink water in between your cocktails.
Yeah.
Remember to breathe. I have a feeling there'll be some asphyxiation tonight from having to drink from all the lies, if that's what you do. But overall, we want you to be safe, be happy, and try to pick things that are not as
Maybe have a cookie for every time he lies.
frequent.
Yeah. I mean, I've
got another idea.
Yeah.
What about every time he lies, you put a nickel, pick off for a nickel, and make that donation to your local Democratic organization?
Yeah, I say if he does 100 lies, donate $10 to your local Democratic organization. I think that that's the best way you can help rather than drinking yourself silly or smoking yourself silly, Murray. you know, but
Dude,
yeah.
I love my bong.
Well, I know you do. I'm not an imbiber. I hardly drink, and I keep telling you, somebody's got to row the boat. That's always me. So, always.
I'm not a big drinker. I'll have a beer or two or a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I hit the whiskey when Ruth passed. Whiskey
boy.
is my funeral drink, so maybe I'll have some whiskey tonight. All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope we gave you a little idea of what is to come with the debate tonight. We also touched on, Grifty McGrifterton and his Ponzi schemes, which involve taxes, national secrets, and how not to die from alcohol poisoning. Drink your water, be responsible,
Yeah.
and have fun.
Yeah, have a good time. I mean, I know that there'll be certain points that I'm going to have to turn off the volume for a little bit, recoup, myself, because that's how I coped with the RNC debates or the RNC thing. Convention. God, it was so bad.
I just smoked weed.
Did you?
Yeah. That's how I got through it. And it was pretty pleasant.
I turned on cable news to watch it, and I don't even do that, so.
That's big. So, guys, tune in to us this Thursday, where we're going to have a great show, 2 o'clock. Always find us on Facebook. Yeah. You can find all of our previous episodes on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter,
Stitcher,
you get your favorite
Apple,
podcasts.
Yeah.
And at Heartland Mamas.
MAMAS.com. And always on Demcast. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take care now. My mic stand is broken. I need to fix that. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.